Yeah, as we said, one game still to chat about. It's Tottenham versus Slavia Prague. And before we chat to Flav Bateman from the Fighting Cock podcast, let's hear from Thomas Frank, the Spurs manager, talking about the threat of Slavia.
I have more or less man all over the pitch, so that just make it different. So you can't relax at one state of the game. And when you're a little bit further up the pitch, you also have man all over the pitch. So you're not as used to that bit. So that can definitely potentially make it difficult for us. So a game where we respect the opponent a lot, but it's about us. It's about us make sure we perform well and continue with I would say forwardness and directness we had in the offensive play.
Now Arsenal gave them a shoeing over there. But either side of that, they've had 0-0 draws against Atalanta. We spoke to Gabriele Fisichella about that earlier, and Athletic Bilbao. So dogged, I imagine they'll be looking to
no mugs,
sit in deep. With Tottenham often had problems with that, and then look to hit Tottenham on the break. As we said, Flav Bateman from the Fighting Cock joins us. Hi, Flav.
Hello, how you doing, boys?
Good, thank you.
We should start with that news in the last hour that Mathys has been included in the squad. It was the first time Tottenham could do it, having admitted him when the squads first went in. It's because it's been 60 days since they announced the squads and Dominic Solanke has been out. So that is, I mean, it's great for him because obviously he was gutted not to be involved. And with everything going on, maybe Richie needing a bit of a rest, Richarlison, maybe Tello get some game time tonight.
Yeah, he should. And you know, I think there was a lot of confused faces when Mathys was left out of the original squad, and such is the way that these things are structured. We had to leave some, a first team member squad out of it, and it seemed a bit harsh that it would be Tell. And obviously, it's great for him that he's back, but it just further extends the mystery of what's actually going on with Dominic Solanke, because he's involved in the squad or the Champions League squad early doors, so that would suggest that they thought this is a minor issue, and I don't know, I can't remember the last time he played. Yeah, as much as it's great for Tell, I think there are issues around Dominic Solanke, and I just don't know what they are. It's mandatory.
No, I mean, I think he's very loath. It's a bit like Kulusevski. He seems really loath to put a time scale on it because it sounds like, I mean, otherwise, if he'd known it was this bad, and there's all sorts of people with conspiracy theories, but if he'd known it was this bad, he would have been ridiculous to have included Solanke in the squad. So it's clearly...
It sounds to me like you're going to have to go into the market in January.
Well, at the moment, I mean, there is no... I mean, especially that's two important forward players, and we've got no idea when they're likely to be back.
No. And if you remember, the Kulusevski injury was a collision in I think it was in the latter stages of the Europa League. It was in like April.
Yeah.
And Postecoglou at the time went, this is just a knock. It'll be fine. It'll be back next week. It's 8 months later. He's still out. It's crazy. And like you say, is that they're due back apparently in December at some stage. You go back into the market in January, you're taking up useful resources that could be spent elsewhere, like buying another fullback. So yeah, it is an interesting and strange time in terms of the Tottenham Hotspur injury list.
I mean, it's going to be difficult to get into that top 8 for Spurs. They're probably going to have to need to win, certainly tonight. I mean, the remaining games they have, they're all potentially winnable games. Yeah. But if they do need to win them, because I think the playoff is in and around the Arsenal game, and you don't want to be having a tough old journey somewhere in the Champions League sort of qualifiers, and because you'd have a playoff if you don't make the top 8 around the Arsenal match, do you?
No, it's a nightmare, and there's 2 extra games that you just don't need against very good opposition. And if you're in that top 8, then anything happens in that position. Do you know what I mean? You get a decent draw, and then suddenly you're in the quarterfinals, and then you win that semi-finals of the Champions League. So. And then the final, and then you win it.
Yeah, and then you win it, and then there we are.
That's it. Yeah, I can completely see that. I can see no barriers.
John in Norfolk's been in touch. He says Spurs under 19s 9, Slavia 1.
Yeah, well,
let's hope it's an omen.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
That's really interesting because Williams-Barnett scored 5 in that. So for those that don't know, Williams-Barnett is much heralded as the next big thing in Tottenham's academy. And we put 9 past them. The same Slavia Prague put 5 past Arsenal at that level. Wow. So interesting.
How old's he? I'll take it. Where?
He's
18, is he 17, 18 or?
Yeah, I think if
He'd
that,
have 20. He'd have 20 caps for Arsenal by now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
probably.
He'd be a veteran compared with Max Dowman, wouldn't he? We call him old man. Yeah, after the weekend, which was a whole lot better, they moved it quickly and they moved it forward and they started quickly as well, which we haven't been seeing a lot. There was, you kind of sensed there was a bit of a blueprint. So you hope he doesn't tear that up tonight. And I know, you've got to manage players' minutes, but Simons is flying at the moment. I bet he's gagging to play tonight, and I hope he starts again.
But yeah, definitely. And tonight's game really is much more about continuing and building momentum rather than just beating Slavia Prague. It's despite them, being compact and looking to hit us on the break and playing 5 in midfield, they're likely to do. This is really about Spurs really putting on another performance that the fans can get behind, because the main narrative around Tottenham is whether Thomas Frank is the right manager for us, and all the many conversations around his tenure at Spurs so far have been about whether or not he fits. And that performance against Brentford was more than satisfactory. I really enjoyed it, and it really gave me pause for a moment to think, actually, this could all work. It could all be fantastic, and Thomas Frank could be the man. And it's about momentum at this stage and going out there, getting Simons on the pitch again, getting Archie Gray in midfield again, and putting a couple of passes, maybe three past Prague, if all things go well, and build towards the weekend against Forest.
Yeah, I kind of sense it might be Bergvall and Polina tonight. I think he might change it up and he'll manage sort of Archie Gray's minutes a bit. But I agree with you. He played well, and to get a bit of momentum is important. So I would be not too upset if we saw those two playing again, because they stood out the other day, didn't they?
Yeah, really, really good. I mean, Gray's first start in central midfield, I think, in the Premier League, and that's what we bought him for. And he was metronomic. He picked up the ball, he was spraying it around, and just kept it flowing in midfield and giving people like Xavi an opportunity to drop into space and receive the ball in dangerous areas. And that was down to sort of the work that doesn't necessarily get seen. Like Archie Gray's, I genuinely think his ceiling is very high, and I just think with game time and experience, we're gonna see the kind of player we thought we bought when we brought him from Leeds. I think he's got a massive potential.
He's played everywhere else. He played in central defence, left, right back.
I think he had a spelling goal.
This is the worry about with Doggy's injury.
Yeah,
is that he will be the next. He'll be in place to back up either side should Spence or Porro get injured, which would be a shame, because midfield is where he should be.
Yeah, we've forgotten about the lesser spotted Ben Davis as well. I don't know how far Ben Davis is off, who'd be cover on the left. But anyway, we'll see how it all pans out. Flav, enjoy the game. Thanks
Flav.
much.
Thanks for having me.
Flav there from the Fighting Cock podcast. You can check. And he also does a very entertaining one called The Lab. They do a sort of deep dive into different aspects. Some of it Tottenham related, some of it sort of generic football, but it's very interesting. Very so go and check those out wherever you get your podcast. So there we are. That's on talkSPORT 2 tonight. Slavia Prague at Spurs. We got Inter versus Liverpool at 8 o'clock for you on talkSPORT. Bayern Munich versus Sporting Lisbon is the early kickoff, 5:45. And you can listen to that one. And, of course, get your calls into the sports bar at 10 o'clock tonight. Both Chelsea and Spurs playing. So who's going to get the has anyone seen treatment
get that?
with the boys later on? But, yeah, it's actually Dino in with Jamie O'Hara.
The one last night, I messaged Cundy earlier on about him throwing the pickpocket at the Arsenal pre-season lunch.
Oh, okay.
That they'd hired.
Has anyone seen?
Has anyone seen? Yeah.
Well,
Very
he'll
funny,
be at
Jason.
He'll be at the darts tomorrow with Jamie and Dean Saunders and Jermaine Pennant and all the gang, and Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent and Natalie Sawyer. The boys are up next for Champions League Drive, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow for the darts. Have a good evening.